Hello viewers, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to check the important role that the smart money FIDA activity in the top and bottom of the standard deviation levels. So what role what their activities in top of the standard deviation level and the bottom of the standard deviation levels. Their activity, first, if the prices tested in top of the standard deviation levels, they will create the bad news. Whenever the prices in top of the standard deviation levels, they will create the news and push the price to test on -1 standard deviation levels, because they load their position in short position and the news itself they created, and they will make to test in -ST1. So monthly chart, already it's in -ST1, it will go for plus ST1 target, +1 standard deviation, but the news they will create it. So why the Nifty is fell down? So if you check the weekly series, the Nifty itself in +1 standard deviation. So short term, long term is bullish this Nifty, because after 2-3 months it will go for plus ST1 in monthly, but in short term they will make the development process in the index. So what will happen? Whenever the price tested in top of the standard deviation, they will sell the price to test in the -ST1 levels. So this is the institution's activity. So institution activity, when the price tested in +1 standard deviation levels, they created bad news, they created whatever the news they created, they can create and sell suddenly, because retail people, they don't know the standard deviation levels. So if the standard deviation levels, when the price tested, the institution role will be aggressively they created, because they want to develop this area bell curve. They want to develop this area bell curve. So for the development, they will sell from +1 standard deviation levels and make the price to reverse back to -1 standard deviation levels. After the internal time clock, once developed in weekly, then it will go for new area. So for the development, the institutions, they make some bad news, and whatever the news created, they will create and they will achieve the target. After, when the price tested in -ST1, after that what they will happen, they will again create some good news to, because whenever they loaded their position, after they loaded their position, they created good news also. So created good news means they will pull back the price again to +1 standard deviation to develop the bell curve. So this is the role activity for the institutions in top and bottom of the standard deviation levels. If anyone they don't know the standard deviation levels, the retail people or any other people, they lose money only, because standard deviation levels institution only knows, and they will create the bad news from top of the standard deviation levels, and they create good news from the bottom of the standard deviation levels. So if you check the Bank Nifty monthly, it's tested the +1 standard deviation levels, and what they will do, the internal time clock, it's developed, then what they will do, for developing again, they will pull back the price to -1 standard deviation levels. So this role is mostly activated by institutions. They want to make the bell curve development to reverse the price to -1 standard deviation. So standard deviation levels, institution only knows, they only create the news, because whenever the price tested -1 standard deviation levels, they push the price top and they created good news, and they created all the news they will itself created. When the price in +1 standard deviation, they created bad news and they pull back the price to -1 standard deviation. If we check the Bank Nifty in weekly, so weekly series, so short term, they pull the price to test in -1 standard deviation. So this full of institution game only. Whenever the institution, whenever the price in plus one standard deviation, they himself created some bad news, and they push the price to test in minus one standard deviation to complete the bell curve. After the price tested, again they created the news from bottom of the minus one standard deviation, and they will pull back the price to reach the plus one standard deviation. These are full and full game. So that's what we advised, not to buy on plus one standard deviation. Our always to enter on minus one standard deviation with the proper confirmation, and you have to exit in plus one standard deviation. If anyone if entered for shortly, so they want to make any position, they want to make hedging only, future position they will make, they take entry in long, because institutions they will not give chance, they will sell aggressively because they want to trap all the traders. So if anyone take in plus st1 for risk, they want to hedge their position. So these are the play games by institutions, and their activities is very aggressively. So they want to, because every traders and investors they must know the standard deviation levels to follow the institutions. So if the price is in plus one standard deviation levels, the price always tested in minus one, they pull back the price to minus one standard deviation levels. So once the levels reached, they will create it again good news to create the pull back the price to again plus one standard deviation to complete the bell curve action. So this is our full and full the standard deviation levels, the institutions only knows. So you have to follow with the in markets itself, the bigger money, smart money, you have to follow with the smart money only, not to follow the retail traders. Always follow with smart money, because they are the real game players. Whenever the price tested in plus one standard deviation, they pull back the price to minus one standard deviation. So this is one information. So we have to always monitor the smart money from top and bottom of the standard deviation levels. So for learn standard deviation levels, everyone should learn market profile, and because market profile only give the perfect level standard deviation levels with the bell curve development. So thank you all. Thank you for supporting my channel.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.